I'm all set. All right, good evening and welcome to the Danvers Planning Board meeting of May 10th, 2022. I'm Jim Sears, the new acting chairman of the board. We are going to be also conducting this meeting remotely. So as a preliminary matter, this is to permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me remotely, and also obviously we have a live audience here this evening. Members, when I call your name, please respond. I think the only member who's not here is Tori. Tori, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you.
All right, thank you.
There's an echo when I speak.
Any staff remote this evening, Josh?
No, sir.
Okay. And any anticipated speakers on the agenda that are remote that you know of?
Not at this time, but potentially.
Okay.
Yes.
So good evening. This open meeting of the Danvers Planning Board is being conducted remotely, consistent with the Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of the emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public hearings. As such, in this case, we are having a public hearing now, but we are allowing still allowing use of the remote access for this open public meeting to have it accessible at this physical location at the Danvers Senior Center. All members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Danvers Planning Board is convening live and remotely via WebEx app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by recording. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using posted agenda unless I note otherwise. Meeting business ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, the chair, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of planning board members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. For items with public comment, we have established an email address for public comment, publiccomments@danversmass.gov. This email address is also posted with the agenda and shown online with the streaming of this meeting. Residents will email comments and they will be provided read out loud after staff has confirmed their name and address. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. All right. Moving on to this evening's agenda. First item of business, 16 and 23 Tibbetts Avenue, request by Cheryl A. Flynn for endorsement of an approval not required A&R plan for 16 and 23 Tibbetts Avenue, Assessors Map 65, Lot 113. The property is located in the Residential 2 zoning district. who's here for the applicant? Shell, if you could please use the microphone.
Good evening.
Good evening. If you could provide a presentation and refer to the plan as to what you're seeking this evening for relief?
I'm surprised at this. We have two lots that about 20 years ago received a 2C waiver to combine the lots to build a house, the lot on the left there, number 16. We had received a frontage variance, and we had a neighbor appeal that. So we went to court, and the court upheld the variance, and then the neighbor appealed it again, and we went to the state appeals court, and they overturned it. So that's why we went to the planning board and received a 2C waiver. And we built the property in 1999, 2000. My mother's house was the one at 23 Tibbetts. A number of years ago, when she couldn't live alone anymore, she moved in with us in 2009, and we rented the house since then. My mother passed away about 4 years ago, and at this point, it's difficult for us. We're both retired now, and we've had turnover of tenants in there that have damaged the house and done things. And we decided to come back to the town and ask at this time if we could divide the lots so we could sell it, number 23. And the couple that's currently living in there is the couple that would like to purchase it.
Okay. Questions from the board? Tori?
No questions, no concerns.
Lou?
Yeah, just a question, I guess, in terms of, and this maybe staff can be helpful, just in terms of the, you were mentioning about in terms of the in terms of the zoning relief that you received and that ultimately was overturned. I guess, so the current status is we do have a dimensional variance decision here from just this March.
Yes.
So could you just,
We went to the Board of Appeals in March, and they granted us a variance to each lot for the lack of frontage.
okay. Okay. And that's been, and looking at that was granted by the board.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I don't have any other concerns. Thanks.
Peg?
I don't have any questions.
All right. Jean?
No, I don't have any questions.
All right, this is, this is approval not required. I don't believe we take audience questions on this, so this is more of a staff or a board decision. Do you have the decision, Lou, that you could read? I don't have any further questions. This is kind of a formality at this point. As long as the the plan is correct, which it appears to be, and shows all the current required information. It's in recordable form. Do you have the decision, Lou?
I
You
don't
could read
think I
that.
have a decision.
There's not a decision. We've been signing the A&R plan, so, for the A&Rs.
Could you make a motion to approve?
Okay. I move that we approve approval not required, A&R, for the property at 16 and 23 Tibbetts Avenue.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Appears to be unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda. Next item is 348 Andover Street. Request by Roland Lemieux for endorsement of an approval not required A&R plan for 348 Andover Street, assessors map 39, lot 11A. The property is located in the Residence 3 zoning district. Good
Hi.
evening.
Yep, my name is Roland Lemieux. I own the property at 348 Andover Street. We've submitted an A&R plan dividing the parcel into 3 lots, and we're here to answer any questions if the board has any.
All right. I'll start with you, Gene. Any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
All right. Peg?
I don't have any questions either. It seems like a simple A&R.
Lou?
Just a question, just in terms of, so it's my understanding that this is in a, for the applicant, this is in a Residence 3 zone, is that correct?
Yes,
And so and so it's our understanding here that the lot exceeds the minimum lot area.
yes,
Also that the frontage meets the minimum frontage.
yes,
Minimum frontage is 150 feet,
yes,
and all the lots exceed that figure.
yes.
Okay. I have nothing further, Jim.
Tori, question?
No questions.
Again, this is a very straightforward A&R request. I don't have any questions on this. I'm asking Lou if he would also make a motion on this. Question in the, hold on one second. Question in the back, Dave?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Doesn't an A&R have to have frontage on a legal way? Cemetery Road is a private driveway.
That's fine. Yeah, that's allowed, as long as it's, it allows access to the lots. It could be private, that's okay.
According to staff, it can be a private way.
So they have to get permission to use that as an access. I assume even if this is granted.
I'm assuming they may already have access, I'm assuming they have access through the private way, either by easement or, well, that would be something that the applicant would have to negotiate.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Back to you, Lou, if you could make a motion on this item.
Okay. Move for the endorsement of an approval not required A&R plan for 348 Andover Street, Assessors Map 39, Lot 11A. Property is located in Residence 3 zoning district.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? None. Unanimous.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda, 4 Carroll Way, 15 Sandpiper Circle, and 155 Hobart Street.
Sorry, Jim, not to cut you off, I apologize. The applicant just requested late this afternoon if we could just table this item momentarily. The applicant was at another meeting, so I would just respectfully request if we could table this item for now and come back to it in a shorter period of time.
Put it at the end of the meeting?
Yes,
We need to move the agenda out of order.
You make a motion for that? Lou?
right.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move to, that we take the agenda item number 3 and move it to the end of the agenda.
Second? Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right, we're going to skip to item 4, which I am going to have to recuse myself on this one, so I'm going to ask Lou to read this in and move on that.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay, so this is item 4 is the Beaver Brook Woods Performance Guarantee Reduction, 303 to 333 Maple Street. A request by Beaver Brook Woods LLC for reduction of a performance guarantee for completed site improvements for Beaver Brook Woods definitive subdivision. I see Attorney McCann is here representing the applicant.
Yes, sir.
You may proceed.
Thank you very much. My name is Nancy McCann. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. Also with me tonight is John Colantoni. And you'll recall, I believe at the last meeting, we had actually two requests with regard to Beaverbrook Woods subdivision. One was extending the completion date, which the board took care of at the last meeting. And at that time, we had not received the engineering department's recommendation for the bond reduction, which we do now have, and I assume that you have that available to you as well. We had requested a reduction in the bond amount from $425,403 down to $224,825. The engineering department has recommended the reduction down to $255,984.07 to represent the significant amount of money necessary and left over for completion of the road. We have completed much of the road if you've gone out and looked at it, and things are just progressing along in their normal course. As we discussed at the last meeting, certain items are not done until more homes are built. Final top course is the typical example of that. You don't want to put the final course on the roadway until most of the heavy equipment for home construction is over with. So those are the types of things that are left remaining. We are in agreement with the engineering department's recommendation of $255,984.07, and we would request that the board take that action to reduce the performance bond to that amount. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to ask the members of the board. Let me start with Tori remotely. Tori, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Okay. Peg?
No questions.
Okay. Jean?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Just in terms of myself, I think I'd like to ask, and I think I might have asked this even at our last meeting when it was more of the, when the completion date. So in terms of, just in terms of timing, how are things looking in terms of when we should be sort of, the end in sight?
Yeah, we did discuss that
Sure.
at the last meeting, and the board granted the extension
Yes.
of the completion date to a year out, April 30, 2023. We do anticipate being completed before then,
Okay.
but given that there's a fee associated that goes up each time we ask for an extension of the completion date, we thought it was prudent just to ask for a one-year extension.
Okay, very good. Okay, sounds good. I don't think I have any further questions. Do we have anything? I don't think this is a public hearing, is there?
No, it's not a public hearing.
Okay.
Just have a motion to approve.
Yeah, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the request for the reduction of the performance guarantee. I think we have a decision.
I make a motion that we approve Beaverbrook Woods performance guarantee reduction for $255,985.07 as recommended by the town engineer.
Second.
Okay, very good. Do we, okay, let me see in here. Just a moment here. Do we need to actually read the formal
Is that a
decision? Yeah, we have a formal decision.
Yeah, can I borrow your
Sure,
computer?
just a moment.
As requested by the applicant, this letter is to inform you that the planning board voted at the meeting of May 10th. Is today the 10th? May 10th, to release 169,000, oops, I'm sorry. To release 255,985, what's already there?
That's the remaining, 250.
Oh,
255 is remaining, correct?
Yes, sir.
okay.
Okay.
To release 169,509 from the balance of 425,493.74 cents from the tripartite agreement dated December 8, 2020 among Beaverbrook Woods LLC, Bank Gloucester, and the Planning Board of the Town of Danvers. The remaining balance held under agreement is therefore $255,984.07 to secure the remaining incomplete work.
Very good. So we have a motion, okay, we have a motion by Peg, second by Jean. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Mr. Sears is abstaining, I believe.
Do we have a quorum?
Hold on.
No, but you're an associate, so you're not voting on, you're not voting on A&R.
Just a moment.
Kick in if there's not a quorum that I need to vote.
Only on special permits.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Okay, staff.
Staff, hold this, just,
We have three?
We have three because
Oh, Tori
Tori.
voted.
yes, you did.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, Tori.
Okay.
Out of sight, out of mind.
We're all
Sorry
good.
about that.
We had a little question about potential quorum, but
Yep.
we're good
Yeah.
here. Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Okay, we're all set. We are
Thank you, Lou.
back to you for Locust Street.
All right, so now we're on 11 and 20 Locust Street, request for an extension of completion date for site improvements, assessors map 43, lots 147, 162, and proposed modification to a previous planning board decision.
Thank you very much. My name is Nancy McCann. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Thomas Carnavale, trustee. Tom is here this evening as well. And we are requesting 3 items, as indicated in my letter application dated April 25th. First, we are requesting an extension of the completion date for the development located at 20 Locust Street and 11 Locust Street, which is the mixed-use development. And we are requesting an extension of that completion date from June 30, 2022 to December 31st, 2022. We are requesting a modification of the site plan decision to allow a decrease in the number of parking spaces required for the project, and that decrease is a number of 2 parking spaces, the reason being we need a location for an exterior dumpster. And the third item is we are requesting the elimination of the connection to the rail trail that was on the original plan. So I'll take each one of these in order, and Tom is going to assist me as well with some of the presentation. First, with regard to the extension of the completion date, I did provide you with the outline of the work that has been completed, and really much, if not all of the site work other than what we're going to be discussing tonight has been completed. The issue with the completion date has to do with the fact that National Grid is proposing to extend the gas line down Locust Street. And until that happens, we can't complete the project. For example, we have some temporary gas tanks on the site which are not shown on the site plan. Those eventually will be removed once the upgraded gas line is put down the street. That project has been delayed for many months now, and I think planning staff is also in communication with National Grid and wondering when that work is going to happen, because it affects not only this property but certainly other projects within town. So that's the reason for the need for the extension of the completion date, because of course once that work is completed, we can remove the temporary gas tanks. We can complete fencing and other landscaping types of work associated with that. We can then finish the as-built plans and the necessary engineering certification that the board requires. So that's the reason for the extension. It really is for work that has to happen, but that's out of our control. So we're certainly hoping that by December 31st or 30th, I think 31st, of 2022, that work will be completed. We will have finished our as-built plans, and we will be able to wrap up this project. The second item is the decrease in 2 parking spaces.
Before we get to that, just,
Yep.
Could we just do one at a time?
Oh, sure.
Are there any questions from the board on the first item for the extension of the completion date? Members of the board, Tori,
I'm fine with the extension.
Lou,
I'm fine with it, Jim.
Peg,
I'm fine with the extension.
Jean?
No questions.
I did have a question on the gas tank removal. Is that gonna free up space for, can you just show where the gas tanks are now, the temporary?
I could,
Josh
yes,
has a
hold on one-
plan. I do have an old-fashioned paper plan.
actually, I do too. Hold on. But
I guess,
I could find it in a moment.
am I jumping the gun? Are you gonna talk about that in the next item?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead. I'll wait.
okay. The next
Oh,
item has to do
oh.
with, okay, here we are.
With this, so, Nancy, if it's all right, I could just, I believe that the two large, like, are they propane or natural gas? I forget which one it was, but
Propane.
they're quite large. I have seen them in person. I believe there's two very large tanks in this general area, Jim.
Okay,
I guess the development team could correct me if I'm wrong, but I
Yes,
believe.
3 tanks.
Yep. Oh,
3? 3.
oh, okay, 3. They are quite large.
so I guess we're on the subject. So what if we remove them, what's gonna be left in that space?
Grass?
Was that already earmarked for landscaping?
Yes.
Okay, no parking or anything there?
No, no.
Okay, so that's part of your overall landscape plan.
Yes.
Jim, the plan that we're looking at this exact moment is the original original site plan that was approved in 2016.
That long ago?
Jeez.
Holy cow.
I know. Time flies, huh?
Wow, okay, thank you.
All right. The next item is total number of
Oh.
parking.
Sorry. Was the extension discussed or voted on or? Sorry.
We didn't vote on it. I want to open it up to the public
Oh.
after we go through the 3 items, which I
Yep.
think we'll do. We'll vote, we can vote it,
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
no problem.
So the next item are the parking spaces. We're requesting a reduction of parking spaces from the 52 parking spaces that were originally required for this project down to 49 parking spaces. So I guess that's 3 parking spaces in order to accommodate a new dumpster. When this project was originally approved, we were talking about having some internal dumpster storage area, and we thought that would be sufficient, but unfortunately, that is proving not to be sufficient, and I do have some photographs that will kind of demonstrate the need for providing a dumpster on site. And in fact, the dumpster has been located on the site, correct? We worked with planning staff. We did work with planning staff and received the approval to go ahead and put the dumpster in because of the situation that we had. We needed it. So staff did agree that we could go ahead and put temporary dumpsters in place, which is what we've done. And so we're here tonight seeking your approval to allow a reduction in the number of parking spaces to accommodate those, the dumpster area that we've shown on the plan, which you see in this location right here. It is not visible from the street. It's kind of tucked back, back behind the building. I was just out at the site at 7 o'clock tonight, so a time when residents would be home. And I counted myself, 19 parking spaces were empty. So there is sufficient parking on the site. There has never been a parking problem observed. I've gone by there many times. During the day, the parking lot is pretty much empty. And then again, I was there just tonight at about 7 o'clock, and there were 19 empty parking spaces on the parking area, which is typically used, which is across the street at 11 Locust Street. So we do need the dumpster. It's the way to solve this problem, and is typical for this type of building to have a dumpster. We tried to do it without it, and it just didn't work.
Is the building fully tenanted at this
Fully
point?
tenanted?
Yes, other than retail.
So all of the residential units are tenanted.
Is the retail anticipated just to be a daily use during the day?
The
Daily operation.
commercial tenants, you're anticipating those would be during the day types of
Correct,
uses?
yes. We have one in there now, and it's just a shop where they come in, get a drink and leave.
Would it make sense, Mr. Carnavale, to go to the microphone and, for the record, just, or
Yep.
name and address? Thank you.
All right, yeah, we have one shop open right now, and they come in, pull in front. We have parking spaces out front of the building, and they pull in, go in and get their drink, and they leave.
Proposed trash, is that going to be fenced
It shows it fenced.
with the slatting between the fences? Or,
Yes, it would be covered so no one would see it.
And is there a distinction between regular trash and recycled? That why we have two separate
Well,
containers?
we're gonna have two, one for retail and one for the residents.
Single stream, so you can put everything in there?
Excuse me?
You can do a single stream between, trash versus recycling?
We don't have a recycling dumpster in there now.
All right, this time I'm going to open up to the board. Questions, Tori?
No questions.
Lou?
Yeah, just a couple of, some of the questions I have already been answered, but just a question with respect to this, the photograph Attorney McCann presented of, it looks like, that's a lot of trash sitting outside of these, on the street. Was this, not on the street, but outside? Is there was this on a particularly, like, someone did a big clean or something, or is typically, this is not unusual to see this sort of amount?
No, it gets done 3 times a week. It was getting done with that, and it was beyond, my concern was they come at sometimes 9, sometimes 10 o'clock. We'd have to get it all out there. My concerns were that it would be blowing down the street if no one shows up on time, so it got to be quite a nuisance to hang on to this stuff there. And the building itself, the smell of the rubbish, no matter what you do, you put it in plastic bags. We got a rubbish room down there, but it was making the rear corridor start to smell. You get an odor from it. I was concerned with rodents also.
Yep, understood. That makes sense. Yeah, the concerns I had, and I think that, and you addressed them, were more in terms, were sort of screening of the dumpster areas, and it was also noted as well that it's not going to be visible from the street. Okay.
That's correct. It won't be, and it'll be screened with fence.
Yeah, and then a concern I also had was with respect to parking spaces, and it does seem, at least based on, that since the building is fully tenanted, at least as it relates to residential, then parking doesn't seem to be of a concern.
It is not an issue? No.
Yeah, I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. Peg?
All my questions were answered. I have no further questions, but I would like to say that the building looks really nice. I think you did a good job. I remember going through that in 2015 or 2016, and I think it adds to the area.
I can't hear what you're actually saying.
I'm sorry.
She's complimenting you.
Well, thank you.
The building looks, I have no further questions, and I just wanted to say that I think you did a great job with the building.
Thank you, thank you.
It looks really nice in that area.
All right, Gene, any questions?
I think that it's pretty clear that dumpsters are needed. I'm glad that recycling was brought up, though. So what do the tenants do with the recycling? They just throw it in the dumpster?
I'm not getting it again.
Recycling, is there any accommodation for recycling?
We don't, as of right now, we don't have it. I'd love to have it. It would be less expensive to have a recycling dumpster, but we've got enough room for two. I'm not sure. It's bigger than what we need. We may be able to get a small recycling in there also.
You could put the totes in there, because I have that at some buildings. Just similar to the picture here, we have these smaller totes you can pull out. You might be able to put, 4 or 5 of them between the dumpsters, and they pick up, they can, in an effort to recycle. I think
Yeah,
that would be
yeah, well, I
encouraged.
think there are we're taking 2 spots, and I'm not sure, but I think it's around 13 feet, and we got about 16, so we may be able to get something smaller in there for recycling.
I don't know if there's a requirement of that in the state or the local government requirement for recycling?
It's more of like a DPW type question that at this time I can't answer, but I would be happy to facilitate with the development team and working with the property owner about ways in which the tenants would be able, have access to recycling, because, right, clearly with 24 apartments, I mean, there's a decent amount, clearly from the pictures, there's a decent amount of trash or waste being produced. It might make sense for, obviously from a sustainability standpoint, it would probably be beneficial to the town also, so I could work with Tom and Attorney McCann after the meeting, and we could work with DPW staff to help them in any way we can.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting
Sure.
to note if you could let the board know if that is if there is a state or local law requiring that. I would think in 2022, that would be more than just encouraged, that it would be most likely required by new developments.
Right. I'm not sure if it's I'd be surprised if it was a state one, but but at the local the local level, I just I'm not exactly sure the policy on multifamily, especially this number of units, what they do with trash, because I believe that the property owner, you do private. It's like private trash. Just the town doesn't pick up the trash, correct? It's private, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
We had private
Right.
trash.
Right.
We have a company that does it. Win
Right.
Waste is doing it.
Right.
They do have, obviously, recycling. I would love to do it. If we can fit it all in there, it would be perfect.
Right. So the town currently isn't even picking up the trash. So that's just,
No, I understand. I mean, I do manage some buildings, and every building we have, the trash company has, the trash and it has recycling. It's just, and
Well,
it's
the
gonna
kitchens are
save
set up
you
that
some
way.
money.
Kitchens
Probably-
have two rubbish trash things in there that one is for recycling and the other one, but as of right now, it's been all in one,
Yeah, with all those property owners, like we said, you
Yeah.
could probably save a fair amount of money
right.
if they,
But the trash
Break it down.
companies also have different policies, because we just switched. And a lot of our residents are upset because they won't take glass. They only take plastic and papers.
really.
So, and our other trash company would take glass and everything. So I don't know if it's a state law where the trash companies seem to dictate what they take and what they won't take.
I think that whole kind of system, or it's kind of a global thing. Different countries were purchasing the recycling, and now all the policies are very different and kind of evolving and moving as we go along. So I think that's the reason for that.
Okay, thank you. Your third item, Nance?
Yeah, sure. The rail trail, the stairway was something that I overlooked on the final plan. I thought it was removed. The entrance, for me, is a huge liability as far as the building is set up. The parking lot is all set up with posted signs showing that nobody's supposed to be there other than the tenants. Yet I've been at the building when people have driven up and parked their car, started to take their bikes off to go use the rail trail. So that's one of the problems. The second is responsibility of someone falling on that staircase or whatever. I don't think it lends itself to anything. You can walk, it isn't a 2-minute walk to the entrance to the rail trail. My concerns are someone coming down there, maybe damaging a car, inadvertently bumping into it or something, and it's just a big liability. I really don't, and we actually need that area for snow storage. It was designated as snow storage, so.
Questions from the board? Lou?
See. No, I don't think I have any questions.
Peg?
I think I have to, I mean, I'm a great proponent of the rail trail. I'm on it just about every day. But I think I have to agree with you, Tom, that you can have access and you can park your car at Hobart Street parking lot, which is no more than a 4 to 5 minute walk from where this parking lot is. So I think that I could see where people would go in and park their car. They're always looking for a place to go to, you know, unload their bikes and get on the trail. So I kind of have to agree with you that it could be a problem. As much as I love the rail trail and I like access to it.
Jean?
Yeah, I agree. There's close enough access.
Tori?
So I wasn't on this board when this was originally approved. What was the purpose originally of that staircase?
I think it's in the rear of the lot to access the rail trail, which abuts the driveway on the right side there as you're coming up Locust Street, heading north, I guess.
So was that as a public accommodation?
Yeah, at the time when this project was approved, the rail trail was just starting to get started. The planner at that time, Kate Day, this was a big push for her, and it was a wonderful enhancement to the town, and developers were encouraged to provide access wherever they could. And this was one of the first projects that was being developed along the rail trail, so wouldn't it be nice if there could be a connection? Well, it would be nice, but really the topography is such, and I have a photo that I want to show you of an area that has, from the parking lot down to the rail trail. It looked originally like it was about 4 feet of a drop. It's not. I was out there again tonight. It's closer to 6 or 7 foot drop. And you can now, which wasn't the case at the time, you can walk, as Mrs. Zielinski just said, just very, very short distance down the street, and you have an accessible, easy access, open to the public, with parking, public parking right there. So that has changed. That wasn't there and available and set up quite the way that it is now. So this type of an access causes Tom and his development a problem, and there it is right there. There's the photograph. I was standing down on the rail trail when that was taken, and it's a big drop. And it's more of a liability than it's worth, and we don't want to encourage people to use that. People should be going down to the very, very close down the street, take a little walk down the street, and you can access the rail trail. So it was originally intended to provide an access when there weren't other accesses, and the rail trail was just getting started.
And so that lot is not a public lot, that's a private parking lot for the residents?
Correct.
Tori, that's right.
So I'm just trying to understand the access. I like that little access there. It's kind of ramshackle right now and probably dangerous, but I like the idea of access there. But I'm trying to get my head around what was intended. If that lot is private and so not a public walkway, who is this access for? It
It was going to be for the residents of the development. It was not ever intended to be open to the public, but unfortunately, when you have this type of an access and you have a parking lot, which, as I said earlier, isn't full most of the time, people do tend to use it. And this is not a good condition.
So the residents could now presumably walk a little bit
Sure.
down the sidewalk and across the gas station and get to the rail trail.
Right.
So are you going to prevent the residents from using it for liability reasons? Are you going to fence it?
Correct. Yeah, we'd love to fence it.
So you have a fence on the 19 Locust Street side, but are you proposing a fence?
Well, we would put a fence there, yes, no problem.
And that would reduce access to the rail
Yeah,
trail.
I would agree that the liability is, significant. Are you still going to put the bench in?
I would do that too, wherever you decide you want it.
We can work with planning staff on locating the bench.
Question, Lou?
Yeah, just a question, just picking up on what Tori had mentioned about, so now in terms of the bench, is the bench meant to, I mean, I guess, was the bench meant to sort of block access? I mean, create an amenity and also block access to that area, or no?
No,
Okay.
the bench wasn't intended to block access. It was intended as an amenity.
Sure.
That's a nice little green space there. You can sit there, you can watch people walking. You have to look down, okay? But you can watch them walking along the rail trail there. It was just an offer to put a bench there for sitting.
And there was no sign, there wasn't any, I know we were just talking a moment ago about about fencing, or there was no indication of like putting even a sign or something that says, rail trail this way, or something?
We hadn't thought of that, no.
I don't think they want to encourage
Yeah.
public use, and it's a tight lot. If you get the building fully tenanted with commercial tenants and you've got some active business going on there, you don't want people coming in with their bikes, and
Yeah.
there's just too many problems, I would think, associated with it. Does staff feel that there is a necessity for the bench, or maybe in lieu of the bench and no longer having the access, perhaps the applicant could contribute in another way toward the rail trail, either monetarily or, in lieu of, putting a bench there, it's right before you get to Maple Street. Are people going to apt to use it, or is it going to just go into decay?
Yeah, staff can try and work with the development team, maybe through the chair, once it's decided if we want a bench, or if we want to, like you allude to, do something else in an amenity, a type of amenity to the rail trail of some type. We can work with the development team, maybe through you, let you ultimately know like what's decided. The bench was just, that was as a kind of, to replace this, as a kind of, hey, we don't feel comfortable moving forward with the steps. Maybe we could, we'd like to do something for the rail trail. We're offering the bench, so.
Or improve signage or something, they always need gravel or things like that to help
Yeah.
the trail itself. I would think it'd be perhaps a better use of the funds, because
Sure. I feel like if the development
no one's
team.
going to use I don't know why someone would sit there.
I don't know, the rail trail is always looking for benches along the
Yeah.
path, and that was really the intent.
But I could see
because this is
the
along
benches
path.
I could see the benches at the,
Yeah,
where the beavers hang out in the area with a swamp walk. But here you're right at Maple Street and you can access everything there. So why would you sit there looking at Maple Street?
you know,
I don't know.
it was just an offer. However, if we can work with planning staff to figure out whether the cost of the bench, that cost could be better put towards signage or something else, that's fine too.
Okay. Further questions from the board?
Jim, can I say something?
Sure.
So I'm on that section of rail trail all the time because I live on Oak Street. Could be a nice place for a bench. with little kids, not really desirable to sit right there next to the street and the gas station at Maple Street. That's a nice spot on the trail. But I'm okay with this plan if the developer works with the town to do some kind of contribution to the rail trail, which
Okay,
might be venture something else.
thank you. At this time, I'm going to open it up to the audience. If there are members in the audience who want to comment or ask questions on this item, feel free to approach the mic and identify yourself. Thank you.
Bill Bradstreet, town meeting member, precinct 1. Gentleman said he would fence off the back. Would it be proper for the lot to be labeled private property, no public access, to cover him if someone decides to use his property for their own use when they're not invited? I mean, I would think proper signage plus the fence he's talking about would be enough to discourage that, along with perhaps removing the steps from the rail trail to the parking lot. Just a thought.
Sure. I don't know if there are other actual steps there now.
They were in, I don't know, we got a picture of it. Yeah. They put it, I don't know how many years ago.
Okay.
You really couldn't use those steps if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's like to service the train tracks or something.
Yeah. It's probably a station.
So could you just comment on the current signage and maybe adding a little verbiage to the signage just to protect you, confirming it is? I think it does. Doesn't it say private lot now? Or what does it say?
Yeah, does it say private lot?
We have signage all through the thing, that for parking, private parking there, the lot is private. But we can put another sign up,
No public access or something like that?
yes.
And then, just through staff, just giving a depiction of the, I'm assuming you're gonna do maybe a 6-foot chain link? Or what type of fence would you propose? Hold on one second. You gotta, if you're gonna comment,
Okay,
sir, you have to.
we're saying a 4-foot.
Hold on one second, sir. If you're gonna comment, you have to identify yourself and speak on the mic, because we're on TV also. So I'll give you an opportunity in 1 second.
The plan says proposed 6-foot-high screening fence up there. I guess I would say that's another thing we could work with staff, whether it's a 4-foot or a 6-foot fence. Were you thinking chain link, or were you thinking some other kind of fence?
Chain link is what's there, so
Okay.
that's what we do.
Yeah, we would match whatever's there, which is 6, is it 6 or 4?
4.
4. So we do a 4-foot-high chain link along that, that boundary.
And would it tie into the existing chain link shown on the southern boundary there?
Yes,
And that's 4 feet also?
yes.
Okay. All right, the gentleman in the back, if you would come up and please identify yourself, your name and address? Okay.
My son.
Oh, okay. Just the protocol. All right, other members of the audience, if you would, anyone else have a question or regarding this item or a comment? Mr. Bradstreet?
Again, Bill Bradstreet, town meeting member, precinct 1, for signage, no access to rail trail, some kind of signage to protect the property owner.
Yep.
I'm not in favor of the sign, but certainly for his benefit, no access to the rail trail should help cover him liability-wise. Just a thought.
Yeah, I'm sure between him as an attorney and insurance company, they will devise a sign that makes them feel comfortable to limit their liability. Thank you. All right. No other further comments from the audience. Any further questions from the board? Hearing none, if we could have a motion to close the public hearing on this? Or this is a, well, let's do this in the three, I think do you have the three decisions for the three items, Lou?
I don't have a decision. This was a modification to a previous site plan decision, so.
So do we need to make a motion that this is a minor modification?
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out, because it doesn't, we'll have to probably do a new decision with these new kind of modifications, like you said.
So why don't, I would entertain a motion to determine that this is a minor modification?
So moved?
Do I have motions made and seconded for the board? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Unanimous on that. Going to the original item here, let's start with the extension of the time period for completion. Lou, if you could give us some motion on that.
Sure, yeah, and this is the, just a question for staff, this is the decision is in our packet here, this is entitled the Performance Guarantee Extension, is that correct?
No, it would be a different folder. It would be
No, it's entitled.
extension of completion date.
Yeah, that's what it's called, but it's
Decision?
actually entitled in the document here, it's under 1120 Locust Street.
That title is an error, but everything else about it is correct.
Okay, so this is an extension, so I move for an extension of the completion date for 11 and 20 Locust Street as follows. At a planning board meeting held on May 10th, 2022, the planning board approved a request from Tom Carnavale to extend the completion date related to as yet unfinished site improvements for property at 11 and 20 Locust Street, Assessors Map 43, lots 147 and 162. The surety is in the amount of $62,954.30 for the completion of improvements consistent with the board's site plan approval filed with the town clerk on January 13th, 2016, with a completion date of June 30th, 2022. This date has been extended to December 31st, 2022.
The motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Peg. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? None. All right, the second item would be the dumpster, addition of the dumpster. If you could address that, Lou, please.
Sure, hold on just a moment.
Is that the site modification?
Really putting you through the paces as clerk
Yeah.
tonight.
You got it, that's all good. Just give me a
Killing
moment.
it. You're on fire right now.
Hold on. Hold on here. Just give me a moment.
Lou, there's not going to be a decision. We're essentially going to modify that original site plan from 2016. So
Yeah, I
there's
have
not
the
going to
language here, so this is a,
yeah, okay.
Yep, hold on just a moment.
There is not conditions that we just spoke of tonight because staff didn't know what was going to be voted on. So
Just a moment.
Yep.
Excuse me. Chair, I'll be with you. Okay. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion for a minor modification to the site plan, 11 and 20 Locust Street. Originally, site plan approved January 12th, 2016, to provide for, first, with respect to dumpsters. 2 dumpsters have been added at 20 Locust Street to provide solid waste disposal for the project. I'll move on to parking spaces. A reduction in the total number of parking spaces for the project has been reduced from 52 spaces total, 48 for multifamily use and 4 for personal retail services use, to 49 spaces, 45 for multifamily use and 4 for personal retail services use. The change is to accommodate proposed dumpsters at 20 Locust Street and constructed conditions at 11 Locust Street, including Danvers electric utility installation. Rail trail access has been removed from 11 Locust Street. And in lieu of in lieu thereof, a bench, and I'm using some language from our discussion, a bench or other appropriate amenity to include appropriate fencing and signage to be determined in conjunction with planning staff. And that is all I have.
Okay, excellent. Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second?
Did you, excuse me, did you want to add that the fence would be, the 4-foot fence would be installed?
I think he did address that.
Yeah,
I said appropriate fencing and signage.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Got it.
Staff.
Okay, sorry
To be
about that.
determined in conjunction with planning staff.
I missed that. Okay,
So I
thank
said
you.
bench or other appropriate amenity
Yep.
to include appropriate fencing and signage to be determined with planning staff.
Good, thank you very much.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Unanimous. I think that's everything. We combine the last two items into one motion.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Good luck. And now we'll go back to the one item that was moved to the end of the agenda. Let me grab that real quick.
4 Carroll Way and 15 Sandpiper,
Let's see.
55 Hobart.
So let me just read the item again. For the record, 4 Carroll Way, 15 Sandpiper Circle, and 155 Hobart Street, request by Roman Catholic Archbishop of Boston for endorsement of an approval not required A&R plan for 4 Carroll Way, 15 Sandpiper Circle, and 155 Hobart Street, Assessors Map 41, lots 80, 81, and 8. The property is located in the residential 2 R2 zoning district.
Good evening. For the record, John Moran from the Moran Cameron Group. We're here tonight representing Roman Catholic Archbishop of Boston, 155 Hobart Street, Dmitri and Harpender Shavenko, 15 Sandpiper Circle, which is Lot 8, and Ashley and Joseph Bono, 4 Carroll Way, Lot 14. Mrs. Bono is here tonight. I'd like to thank the board for tabling this item that allowed me to attend another meeting that I had tonight. So the purpose of this approval not required application is Roman Catholic Archbishop of Boston is proposing to create parcels A and B from their existing property. Parcel A is approximately 9,800 square feet. Parcel B is approximately 6,300 square feet. They're located at the rear of the existing 155 Hobart Street, which Hobart Street's out here. Parcel A, Parcel B are at the very end of the rear of the property. Parcel A and Parcel B in and of themselves are not buildable lots. As per a note on the plan, Parcel A will be conveyed to Ashley and Joseph Bono, 4 Carroll Way, Lot 14, therefore creating Lot 14A, which is a compliant lot. Parcel B would be conveyed to Dmitri and Harpender Shavenko, 15 Sandpiper Circle, creating Lot 8A, which would also be a compliant lot. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. It's pretty straightforward A&R.
Questions from the board? I'll start with Peg.
I don't think I really have any. They're not buildable lots, so you're just conveying land to the abutting.
The existing
homes.
lots.
Yeah. I don't have any questions.
Okay, Jean?
No, I don't have any questions.
Tori?
No questions.
Lou?
Yeah, so just so I understand this correctly, so the current lots, so for example, the Bono's lot, it's currently not conforming, and this will make it conforming? I'm a little just confused in terms of.
No, all existing lots conform.
Sure.
And the addition of the additional parcel land areas to the lots still conform.
Got it. Okay.
So it's really nothing more than a transfer of lot. So lot 8 and lot 14 will become lots 8A and lot 14A, and they'll just be larger.
Okay.
Their frontages don't change, just the lot area changes and their perimeter changes.
What's the size of the lot, sort of before and after for 8A and 14A?
So lot 14 I'll have to do the math, but Lot 14A afterwards is a little over 70,000 square feet. It's almost 71,000.
Okay.
So it's more than 3 times the required lot area.
Sure.
Lot A, after the addition of parcel B, is around 26,500 square feet, whereas Lot 8 right now is just slightly over 20,000, which is a compliant lot.
Okay, got it, okay. That answers my question. I have nothing further. Thanks.
The only question I had, obviously, there's a current drainage easement on the site that abuts these two parcels. Will that be anticipated any effect in any way as to drainage and the working of the lot?
No, the drainage systems are already in, and the drainage easement stays where it is. It's just now the drainage easement would be located on a portion of parcel B and parcel A. So for example, lot 14, before, that drainage easement did not exist on lot 14. The subsequent lot, now lot 14A, will have a small portion of that drainage easement on it. But the drainage easement is still shown on the plan, so it still exists.
So the applicants would know that they are not to put any structures within that area,
Correct.
so, okay. Again, sir, you gotta identify yourself, but if you would, just for the record, because it is on Zoom also.
Tim Donahue, Precinct 4 meeting member. There is a big drop off the back of those two parcels into the easement that's about 14, 15 feet, and it's heavily brushed and not really anything you can do with it.
Okay. We just don't want any interruption with the drainage by addition of the, to interrupt that. Is that something that is maintained, have to be maintained to keep the drainage as far as, is it? It's not
That
a,
section of the drainage, for what it is it's runoff from Sandpiper Circle. The drainage goes into, I believe, a series of chambers, then it discharges into a channel, a big stone riprap channel. So there's very little maintenance required on that stone riprap
Has
swale.
the town taken that over? Do you know?
The town has not.
Okay,
They have not yet. The street hasn't been accepted yet.
right.
Now, whether the town will accept it once the subdivision's complete, I'm not 100% sure on that, or whether that'll end up being the subdivision owners would be maintaining that. My guess is it'll be accepted by the town eventually.
So is it required to be mowed a couple times, or
No, it's just riprap.
just riprap? Okay. All right, any further questions from the board? All right, hearing none, if I could have a motion, Lou?
Sure. Yeah, we'd like to endorse as approval not required, the request by the Roman Catholic Archbishop of Boston for endorsement of an approval not required A&R plan for 4 Carroll Way, 15 Sandpiper Circle, and 155 Hobart Street, Assessors Map 41, lots 80, 81, and 8. The property is located in the Residential 2 R2 zoning district.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second? Keep waiting for Tori to.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I keep waiting for Tori.
Any additional items from staff for the board?
Not at this time, just our next meeting, the Maple Square project is scheduled to open. We have 2 items, 23 Cherry Hill Drive, parking lot modification, and then the Maple Square project will open at that next meeting. So if anyone on the board thinks that might not be available, if you could just please let staff know, that would be appreciated. But I think, Lou, sorry, you want to say something?
Go ahead, Lou.
I was just going to say that just to staff, I will be away on vacation during that time when it's held. However, I will have access to internet access, so assuming everything works well, I do plan to participate remotely.
Thank you for letting us know.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you were not able to do that, you could review the
That's it.
tape and then be able to vote at a future meeting, so
Okay.
if that would happen.
Yep.
I'd prefer to participate in real time, but I appreciate.
Yeah,
knowing
if
about
something
that.
happened, mechanically with the, all right.
You never can be sure. Thanks.
All right, final motion tonight, Lou.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right,
I keep waiting.
thank you.
Good night, everybody.